What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 4 of Fight IQ. I'm your host, Collective MMA, here with my guy, The Wager Zone, and we are going to break down UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi. Wager, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. I'm very excited for UFC Abu Dhabi. Even though I told you right before this, I will not be able to watch it live as much, but I usually do a live watch along on my page for every single event. I'm not gonna be able to do a live watch along this one, so I'm probably just gonna be like tuning in every once in a while. But I got my picks ready to make some money again. We had a great UFC last week, and we're on a kind of a winning streak right now for UFC. So kind of excited for this one.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, speaking of last week, before we jump into Fight Night Abu Dhabi, let's just do a quick recap of UFC Fight Night Oklahoma City. Overall, like, what'd you think of the card, and how'd you make out on your bets?
Overall, I thought the card was a banger. I thought we had a lot of great fights in the card. I think UFC has been absolutely putting on some great cards for us recently. Obviously that Oklahoma City crowd was insane. It was an amazing crowd, electric crowd overall. For my bets wise, I did really well. I made over 4.5 units on the card. It was a great card for me. Obviously, I hit my most confident play. I think it was Fatima Klein. I parlayed it with somebody. I can't remember at the moment. I can't remember the card at the moment. But hit my 2 unit play. Tommy McMillan was my second biggest play of the night. Took Tommy McMillan, cashed on that one. We also took Ezra Elliott, parlayed with Barbosa. We parlayed them two together. That was easy money for my in the beginning of the fight. Just parlayed the wrestlers, and it was easy money. The only bet I really lost was I took and we cashed on Chase Hooper submission. Took Chase Hooper by sub. We cashed on that one as well. But only bet I really lost was I took Seung Hyun Ko and I parlayed him in a over 1.5 in Usman and Duplessis. And yeah, Ko went out there, kind of bad IQ, lost the fight. And then the main event overall, Usman got I underestimated how big Duplessis was. Once the fight started and I saw them in the ring together, because I'm sitting there going to that fight, I'm thinking, okay, Usman's gonna win. I picked Usman on the for the card, but going into that fight, and I saw them in the ring walking up to each other, I was like, Duplessis about to whoop him. That's literally what in my head I was like, he is a giant ox. This dude is humongous. Like he looked just way bigger than Usman. And as soon as I realized that, I was like, Usman is taking him down. And then I forgot how long his reach is. That dude has crazy long arms, and he just picked apart Usman. He beat him up bad. He hurt Usman like 12 times in the fight. I swear. Every single time he hit Usman with a good shot, Usman would kind of wobble a little bit. Usman did do good in that fifth round. I thought Usman won the fifth round. I thought the third round was a 50-50 round. But I leaned it towards Duplessis. I scored at 49-46. I thought Usman won the fifth round, but still, he got picked apart the whole entire fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point you brought up there. Like, yeah, the size difference was definitely crazy. And yeah, I picked Usman as well. Sure glad I didn't bet on that fight though, because yeah, it was very one-sided. And yeah, that fifth round you could possibly give to Usman, but in my opinion, the first 4 were clear DDP rounds. Yeah, he was just too strong. Kept feinting that knee to sort of discourage Usman from wanting to shoot. And overall, it was a masterclass from DDP. He looked like a stud out there. So shout out to him. Yeah, for me overall, I thought it was a pretty good card. Couple of duds in there, but for the most part, the fights were good. Cashed Diony Barbosa submission. Had the over 1.5 in the Elliott Damian Anderson. We had Fatima Klein and Christian Leroy Duncan parlay. Also had Duncan by decision. So yeah, overall did well. No complaints from me. So looking to do the same thing again with you this week, and we will jump right into it.
Real quick, I have missed my cycle parlay by one leg. 2 weeks in a row. Like the other one, I missed it. I took Conor McGregor by knockout. That was the knockout I had, and obviously Conor McGregor. The fight ended in like 1 minute, but I missed that one. Then this week, I had Chase Hooper sub, Tommy McMillan knockout, and then Usman decision. Main event came down, lost in the main event again. I was like, man, I was a plus 6,000. I was just like, as soon as like I said, as soon as the fight started, I was like, I'm about to lose this. I was like, I'm about to lose this like a parlay. It ain't hitting.
For sure. Well, hey, you know what? Let's see if we can hit one this week.
Mm-hmm.
All right, first fight of the night, we got Abdul Hussein versus Cody Gibson. What do you like in this one, my friend?
I absolutely love Hussein in this spot. I'm a big Cody Gibson guy. I like betting. I think I came on here, or I just told you personally. I can't remember if you telling you personally, or I came on a couple weeks ago where I was saying that Cody Gibson is one of the underdogs I like putting my money on, because if I'm going to bet an underdog, I want to bet a guy that's going to fight for my money and that's not going to give up on himself. And that Cody Gibson never gives up. Cody Gibson goes out there and gives 150% every single fight. But this one, I believe he's just outmatched everywhere. This Hussein guy, I think he has so many skills. From all the tape I watched, it's like he can wrestle, he has jiu-jitsu, he has striking, his cardio looks pretty decent. I think he's got Cody Gibson beat everywhere. So I absolutely love Hussein in this spot. I think he can win a submission. I think he can win a knockout. I think he can win in the decision. However he wants to win this fight, I think he absolutely dominates this one. So it's sad to say that one of my favorite fighters is Cody Gibson. I think he has absolutely no chance in this fight. So give me Hussein.
All right. I will join you, and I will also pick Hussein here. Yeah, I mean, Cody Gibson, I will say, he is going to be a lot bigger than him. He's 5 inches taller than him. So I'm curious to see how they look at weigh-ins. That's one thing I'll note. And obviously, yeah, he's going to have a reach advantage as well. I think about 5 inches as well. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Hussein's got a lot of skills here. I think this is a clear, let's bring in a fighter near the end of his career, and let's try to give Hussein a win in the UFC. Yeah, whether it's knockout, submission, or potentially decision, as you mentioned. Yeah, Hussein's got some quality wins, or relatively quality wins on the regional scene in his last fight, knocking out Tyson Nam in pretty impressive fashion. So yeah, for me here, give me Hussein, and I think he gets it done inside the distance. I mean, Cody Gibson in his last 2 fights getting finished against Blackshear, he looked really good in that first round, and then ended up getting put on his back and got Kimura'd. And then in his most recent fight, he got starched in the first round very early on, which was not a very good look. So yeah, I think Abdul Hussein, you could look inside the distance here at about minus 170. I think that'd be worth a look. Or again, if you want to, look for a prop, could go KO or sub. But yeah, I think inside the distance would be worth a look there. So
I agree. I would say, because I didn't say exactly how I think he win. I agree. I think inside the distance is the play, because I do think he gets finished. And if I had to say exactly how, I think he gets knocked out. Personally, I think Cody Gibson is too much of a dog for his own good in this fight. He's gonna walk forward. He's not gonna care, and he's gonna get caught with something. I think he gets put away.
Sounds good. Moving on to our next one, we got Nurullo Aliev versus Mike Davis. This one is an interesting one for me. My pick is going to be Aliev. However, not sure I really want much to do with this one from a betting standpoint, just because his striking's all right, but he's more so a one-dimensional wrestler, wants to take you down, win minutes, grind you up against the fence, that kind of thing. And I just think, at this current price, him being the minus 220 range, I definitely wouldn't straight bet that, and not sure I wouldn't want to parlay that either. Like Mike Davis, you got to favor Mike Davis on the feet, in my opinion. I think Mike Davis also is the better jiu-jitsu guy, so he's better out of 2 of the 3 main aspects, and I give Aliev the better wrestling. So it's hard for me to want to bet Aliev here. Yeah, I do think he wins, and I do think he wins a decision. You can get him to win a decision at plus 115. I think that could be worth a little sprinkle. But yeah, as far as just like betting the money line, I kind of think it's a dog or pass. Like, Mike Davis is pretty good, like he's got some things to like. But however, he has also had quite a few injuries in his career. And I know he's also mentioned that he deals with Lyme disease as well. And yeah, he's just a little inconsistent. And I mean, in that Faraziem fight, him pulling guard. And yeah, I mean, there was him and some other fighters mentioning that there was the paint fumes in the back and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think it's impossible that Davis, finds something early in this fight. But yeah, as far as a pick, give me Aliev by decision. What about you?
I agree about this is a close fight. I really do believe this is a very close fight. Part of me, I want to come on here and say Mike Davis is going to win this fight, because Mike Davis, like you said, he's going to have the jiu-jitsu advantage. He is going to have this probably a slight, I don't think a big striking advantage, but at least a slight striking advantage. But Aliev, I think he's going to be able to mix in the striking with the wrestling very well. That's the one thing I kind of think he's going to do. So my official pick's going to be Aliev, but I agree. I would not touch this fight, because I really want to bet Mike Davis as an underdog in this spot. I really do. But if Mike Davis was like a plus 250, plus 270, I'd be hopping on that all day. But at this line, at this set, I have to pick Aliev because I've personally faded this guy, Aliev, twice in his UFC career. Not against Shamrock. I was all over Aliev with the Shamrock fight because, in my opinion, Shamrock isn't all the best. But I faded him in his first two fights in the UFC, and I got burned on it. And I'm like, do I want to fade him again? I don't know if this is the best spot for me to fade him. So I think this is going to be a very close fight. And I do believe that Aliev is probably just going to get to his wrestling. He's going to mix in some striking. I think once he realizes that Mike Davis has a striking advantage, he is going to probably shoot. He's going to take him down. We're going to see Mike Davis be on his back for the most part and probably trying to get submissions from his back. But at that point, I just think Aliev is going to be too strong and just take him down and then probably grind out a decision. It's going to be a close fight. It's going to be a very good fight. I won't bet it personally, but Aliev is going to be my official pick.
All right. Sounds good. We will keep on running. Moving on to our next one, we got Brendson Ribeiro versus Magomed Tuchalov. What do you like in this one?
Obviously, I like Tuchalov in this fight. Brendson Ribeiro, I believe he has been getting thrown to the wolves in his UFC career, and he hasn't. He's been food. That's the best way. He's been wolf food. That's what he has been, and that's what the UFC is doing again here. Tuchalov, I'm not sold on him though. That's the one thing. I'm gonna be picking it, but I'm not sold on him. I believe he's like a minus 800 favorite, and this is something like that. That's something crazy. I don't want any part of that price tag. I don't, and I'm a guy. I'll parlay minus 1,000s. I will if I believe there's a big advantage for you. I'm parlaying you at a minus 800, minus 1,000. I'll do it. But Tuchalov, he needs to prove to me first that he is worth that price tag. 'Cause I get it. It's Brendson Ribeiro. Brendson Ribeiro doesn't have the best chin. Brendson Ribeiro's lost to probably worst competition. But Tuchalov hasn't beat nobody. If you go look at his resume, he's beating a lot of old guys. He's beating a lot of like cans. The best way you can say. So I understand this guy has the skills, and I understand that when you watch tape, you're like, okay, this guy has great skills. But then you go and look who the competition he's fighting against. You're like, it's not the best competition. So I'm gonna pick Tuchalov in this fight. I'm gonna say he knocks out Ribeiro in the first round. But the one play I would say I like in this one is I like the over 1.5. Surprisingly, I do think the over 1.5 might be a good spot, just because I think Ribeiro can make this a good fight for the first round, and then the second round maybe he'll get knocked out in the end of the second or the third round, or maybe it goes to decision. But until I see Tuchalov prove to me that he is worth the minus 800 price tag and fighting someone that's probably way better than he's ever fought and it's not 40 something years old, he's gonna have to prove to me he can do it, worth that price tag. But my official pick's gonna be Tuchalov because I don't have the cojones to come on here and pick Ribeiro in a fight. So yeah, give me Tuchalov to win, but I'm not confident in it at all. And I'm gonna say he knocks out Ribeiro. I would say at the end of the second round.
All right. And yeah, in this one, we got Tuchalov at about minus 800 and Ribeiro at plus 550. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this one. Like, I'm not entirely sold on Tuchalov here, but yeah, I mean, Ribeiro in his last three, not the best, getting finished in his last three. And yeah, as you mentioned, kind of getting thrown to the wolves here. Yeah, I kind of see Tuchalov end up, either hurting him or getting him down to the mat and probably getting either a round one TKO or a rear naked choke, something like that. Yeah, I kind of see he's a mount, starts beating him up, and whether he ends up going for that choke or just TKOs him, I think it's a round one finish for Tuchalov. So you can get the round one KO at about minus 130. Could be worth a look on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to our next one, we got Ismael Bonfim versus Axel Sola. We got Bonfim at plus 155 and Axel Sola at minus 180. In this one, I like Axel Sola, and I like Axel Sola by knockout will be the official method of victory. However, note that Bonfim in the first round, he is going to come out like a bat out of hell. The way that he fights in the first round, he wants to come and get you. He wants to come and throw combinations, let his hands go, and try to take your head off. So this one I definitely see being more of a dog fight type of fight. But the knock on Ismael is that he tends to quit. He's a bit of a glass cannon. Like the minute that things don't start to go his way and he has to go through some adversity, he usually starts looking for the door. And I think Sola is a very good fighter. He's going to look to pressure him, throw some combinations, throw a couple kicks in there, mix it up on him. So I think that Sola can survive the initial onslaught from Bonfim and then start picking him apart. I think a good look for this fight would be the under 2.5 at -120. And here's my thinking on that: is that if Bonfim is going to win, I think he's going to knock out Sola in round 1. And then if Sola is going to win, or every one of Bonfim's losses in the UFC, he's been knocked out. So I think if Sola wins, that likely means he survives round 1, then ends up piecing apart Bonfim, and he ends up getting a TKO win over Bonfim. So I think the under 2.5 is a solid angle for this fight. What about you?
These are two fighters that I don't really think to have like the, I guess like top 15 level. I think both these guys are kind of fadeable once you get to that spot. Axel Sola, I watched him a lot in Aries, over there in Aries FC, I believe it was called Aries, and he fought a lot of cans. He was like, if you go look at the odds for him in those Aries fights, he was like -5,000, -6,000, -4,000. Like he was just a giant favorite. He fought a bunch of nobodies the whole time. He got his whole undefeated record. Came to the UFC, and I'm not gonna lie, I took him in his first fight in the UFC. But as soon as he got put up against Mason Jones, I was like, boom, I found the perfect fighter to fade you against. Because I was like, Mason Jones would put it on you. Because Mason Jones is a dog. I'm a big fan of Mason Jones.
Oh,
but
yeah.
what's it called? Like this fight against a Bonfim, Ismael Bonfim, there's good Bonfim and there's bad Bonfim. I've been saying that since the Contender Series. I was like, Gabriel Bonfim's good Bonfim, Ismael is bad Bonfim. Like most times brothers are in the UFC. You got good Diaz, and you got Nate Diaz is still mediocre. You got good Shogun Rua, and you got the bad Rua. You got it's kind of how it is, and like for the brothers, one's always usually better than the other. But I don't think Ismael Bonfim's all that as well. He's explosive in the first round. He is very explosive. But the one thing about Axel Sola is Axel Sola showed me that he can take a beating and he will keep walking forward. And one thing he has really good knees. He has really good stepping knees. He has good 1-2s. And I do believe that he's going to be able to outlast Ismael Bonfim. Ismael's going to come out there like he always does, explode in the first round, try to knock you out. And if he doesn't, he's going to get finished. So I think this fight's going to be very competitive for the first round, and I think they're both going to have their spots. I believe both of them are going to get hurt in the first round. I think Axel Sola is probably going to get hurt in the first round, and I think Axel Sola is going to hurt Ismael Bonfim in the first round. But then as soon as that second, third come, that's going to be Axel Sola all day. Ishmael's going to get tired like he always does, and then Axel Sola is going to keep walking forward like he usually does. He's probably going to make this a dog fight, just walk you down, pressure, whole bunch of shots coming at you, step in knees to the body, and eventually I do believe he's going to put away Bonfim. So yeah, give me Axel Sola, and I'm agree with you. I think he does it by knockout.
And one other thing I just want to note about this fight too, like I think Sola is a quite composed fighter. I think he's a really smart fighter. He does have good fight IQ, whereas Bonfim is a very emotional fighter, which can be good or can be bad. And so I just wanted to note that as well. That, yeah, I think that the minutes things don't go his way, he's gonna fold like he typically has.
And Axel Sola is like really big. Like he's a pretty big guy. He's a really big guy.
6'2", or like like over 6 foot. Like he's tall.
Yeah.
Definitely big for the weight class for sure. All right, moving on to our next one. We have Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Sam Patterson. We got Ponzinibbio at +300 and Sam Patterson at -400. What do you like in this one?
I was a big Santiago Ponzinibbio fan. I mean, he was on, I believe it was like a 7-fight win streak, I think it was, and he was out there winning a whole bunch of fights. I think it was 7 fights, maybe it was shorter than that. But I was a big Santiago fan. I was like, I was watching him. I was like, this guy has so many skills. He's when I first watched him in like his third, fourth fight, I was like, he's gonna be in the top 5. That's what was in my mind at that one point. Then he had that, I think it was an injury or something, and he was off for like 2 years. And ever since he came back from the injury, he has not been the same at all. He's not been the same. He doesn't move very well anymore. I don't want to. I never want to question the heart of a fighter because like I said, I don't know these guys personally, so I never want to question the heart of a fighter. But it just seems like he lost his heart for fighting. It seems like he doesn't. He's not really all the way there anymore. So I don't. I feel like this is a good fade spot for him. Even though I was a big fan of him, I think Sam Patterson is going to put it on him. I think Sam Patterson is going to knock him out. Santiago doesn't take big shots anymore, and that very well. If this fight gets to the floor, Sam Patterson is obviously the better grappler as well. The one thing about Sam Patterson that I don't like is that he has a tall man defense. His chin is always up in the air. He throws 1-2s with his chin straight up like this, and he's gonna get caught sometimes. Like I put a whole bunch of money on Michael Venom Page in the last fight. Michael Venom Page just picked him apart. Like MVP does MVP things, and Now, this is a big step down in competition against Santiago. I know Santiago is a veteran. Santiago still hits hard. He still has the power, but he's going to be knockout or bust. If you're going to bet Santiago Ponzinibbio into this fight, you take the knockout because Sam Patterson is chinny. He keeps his chin wide open in the air, so that's going to be the only way Santiago wins this fight. But yeah, I just think Sam Patterson's better everywhere at this point. And you know that what's it called? Santiago Ponzinibbio. I don't know if it's the Spanish broadcast or if it's the Portuguese broadcast, one of those two. He's at all the fights doing commentary at this point, so I feel like he's already got one foot out the door, and he's not really all the way there ready for fighting. I think he's ready to retire at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if he loses this fight and he retires right after. So give me Sam Patterson. I think he wins this fight. I think he's going to knock out Santiago Ponzinibbio.
All right. I also like Sam Patterson in this fight. And I do agree with you about the one thing that I don't like about Patterson is that, yeah, he tends to have the tall man's defense and sort of keep his chin in the air. However, I want to just touch on the point that you made about him being chinny. So the only time he was knocked out in the UFC was his first actual fight in the UFC, not counting Contender Series. And that fight was at 155. At 155, I believe he might have been chinny there because he was cutting too much weight. At 170, I think his chin has looked a lot better or like just fine. And yeah, I in his last fight against Michael Page, yeah, I did bet Page, and that was a stinker of a fight. Not a whole lot happened. That tends to happen sometimes with the MVP fight. It turns into a bit of a staring contest, and MVP with his, karate point style fighting, it takes two to tango, right? So if both guys are sort of hesitant, it can lead to a boring fight. So yeah, that definitely wasn't the best look. But yeah, I've been on Sam Patterson against Trey Waters. I cashed with him as a big underdog against Danny Barlow. That was a nice one against Crosby. So and Sam Patterson's last 4 fights, they're all first round finishes. And as you mentioned, Ponzinibbio, he's had some success in the UFC. Obviously, yeah, he was on a bit of a streak there, then had some injuries, and that sort of derailed his career a little bit. But I will give it to him. He ain't scared. He's going to come there. He's going to try to knock you out. So I think there's a lot of different angles you can honestly look at in this fight. I think for starters, you could look at Patterson by KO about plus 136. You could look at fight ends by KO at minus 135. You could look at the under 1.5. I think there's lots of different angles to look at in this fight. So yeah, I like Sam Patterson a lot here. I think he gets it done, probably a first round knockout. So yeah, give me Sam Patterson. And I think, yeah, whether you want to look at props or he could be a parlay piece as well, I think he's one of the more confident picks for me this week.
Where Sam Patterson actually really surprised me, where I was like, okay, this guy, I already knew from the Contender Series and all that stuff, this guy has skills. I bet on him most of his fights. The only time I've ever bet against him was that Danny Barlow fight. And then when that Danny Barlow fight, in my head, I was thinking, okay, Sam Patterson is probably going to put it on Barlow and land more shots. That's my complete thinking. But I was like, Barlow hits like a monster. When Barlow hits you, he hits you, but he just could never really land that shot against Sam Patterson. And that's where Patterson really made me a real believer and a big fan of him, because I was convinced that Barlow was going to crack his chin and put him away. But then, like you said, ever since he's came up to 170, I don't think he's lost a fight. I don't think he's lost a fight at 170
well,
yet.
Except the MVP fight.
Oh, yeah, the MVP fight, like I said. But leading up to the MVP fight, he was looking great. So the Danny Barlow fight, he really impressed me. And I think Danny Barlow is, and not to get off topic about not talking about Sam Patterson, but Danny Barlow, to me, he's kind of like the Deontay Wilder of MMA, to where it's a straight right hand and that's all you got. And if you can't land that straight right hand bomb, then you're probably gonna lose the fight. And I was a big Danny Barlow guy, because Danny Barlow was going and hitting pads with heavyweights, and people were saying Danny Barlow hits harder than most of these heavyweights. Like Danny Barlow was out there breaking records for like these punching machines and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a little thing about Danny Barlow. But yeah, Sam Patterson made me a fan after that fight. After that one, I was like, oh, this guy's the real deal.
For sure. No, I completely agree. All right. We will keep on running. Moving on to the next one. We have Dustin Jacoby versus Mohamed Saeed. We got Dustin Jacoby coming in at minus 150 and Mohamed Saeed coming at plus 130. In this one, I think it's Dustin Jacoby all day here. I looked earlier this week and Jacoby was minus 175, and I see people keep betting on Saeed. That line keeps coming down. Yeah, you can get Jacoby at around minus 145, minus 150 range. Honestly, I hope people keep betting on Saeed, because I think this is Jacoby all day. Now, I will note, side note, the only thing that does scare me in this fight is if Jacoby does not finish him and it goes to a decision, we could see some shenanigans going on. That's the one concern. However, I don't think this fight's going to decision. I think Jacoby's going to put this dude out and he's going to look awesome in this fight. Saeed, like watching his tape, like he's all right. I mean, like he'll put his punches and kicks together. Kind of has a little bit of like a Shara Bullet type flow to him. But honestly, I don't know. Like again, the competition he's fought has been poor, and also he's not even looking that great against that competition he's fighting. Another thing I want to note as well is this dude. Like I'm curious to see weigh-ins, but like to me, he looks like like a middleweight. Like he doesn't really look like a 205er to me. Like I'm curious to see what they looks like in weigh-ins. But yeah, I mean Dustin Jacoby, he's got tons of experience kickboxing. He's had lots of experience in the UFC. Has some quality wins. Has been in there with some good names. So I think at minus 150 or minus 145, that range, Dustin Jacoby is absolutely the side. Yeah, I think he ends up getting a knockout here, and I think that he's going to be too much. One thing to note about Saeed is, watching some of his fights, he does not like being pressured, and I think Jacoby is absolutely going to be able to pressure him here. I don't think Jacoby's going to be that worried about what's coming back his way, and I think he's going to land a big shot, and he's going to put him down. So I like Dustin Jacoby here, and I think he'd be a good money line bet, or you look at a KO prop. But yeah, I think at minus 144, I think it's a solid bet. What about you, my friend?
I agree. I like Dustin Jacoby in the spot. I agree with what you said. It's Dustin Jacoby all day in the spot. I'm surprised he's only a minus 150. If I was lining this fight just the way I've seen it, I would have lined Dustin Jacoby at like minus 220, minus 240, something like that. I think we're getting a great price tag on him. Saeed, this is another guy that's same as like I said about the other guy. You're fighting a whole bunch of old men that are like 40 plus, a whole bunch of cans, and then you're not even looking that good against competition. I know he has some power. He hit what's it called? If you watch the tape, it's like, okay, this guy has some decent striking, but you're going against nobodies. Now you're taking on a glory kickboxer that's fought a lot of great competition. This guy, Dustin Jacoby, hits hard. Dustin Jacoby has decent takedown defense at this point in his career. Dustin Jacoby, he puts combinations together very well, and he pressures you. He's not scared. He's going to walk forward. He's going to land some shots on you. And that's where Saeed tends to struggle. And I just think this is Dustin Jacoby all day. The only reason why the line is going down is because we're getting the Abu Dhabi money that people are just blindly from Abu Dhabi and the Middle East putting a whole bunch of money on their fighters for no reason. You see the line movement all the time. You go to Abu Dhabi. Maybe there's a rat in the room that's going to say, nope, this fight's rigged. But if I don't even think it gets to the scorecards. I think Dustin Jacoby's going to put him out. I think Dustin Jacoby's going to knock him out as soon as Saeed realizes that, oh dang, I'm in trouble. I think he's going to fold. I think he's going to be scared. I think he's going to fold over, and I think Dustin Jacoby's going to put it on him. So, yeah, give me Dustin Jacoby by knockout. I'm actually very confident in Dustin Jacoby this weekend. I'm guarantee I'm going to have some money in Dustin Jacoby because this Saeed guy fought nobodies, doesn't look good against good competition, and, yeah, he's going to get his lights put out, in my opinion. So, give me Dustin Jacoby by knockout.
Right on. Love to hear it, brother. Moving on to our next one, we got Walter Walker versus Thomas Peterson. We got Walter Walker at minus 175 and Thomas Peterson at plus 150. What do you like in this one?
So, we got Walter Walker. We already know what he's going to do. Yeah, at this point, he's walking around with an ankle hanging from a chain at this point because he's telling everybody what he's going to do. He's going to try to get the heel hook. That this guy is a master of heel hooking. For the most part in jiu-jitsu, the heel hook hasn't really been working in a lot of other weight classes. It's not really a thing that you kind of do because it's easier. It's easy to get out of if you know what to do. It's you end up on the bottom for the most part. And you end up taking some punishment if they know what to do. But at heavyweight, it works wonders because a lot of these heavyweights don't know what to do. I'm not even gonna lie. Most of them, they don't really know what to do. Thomas Peterson is a really big guy. He has really good wrestling for himself. He has pretty good wrestling, and his striking is pretty decent as well. So I think this is going to be a very good fight, but I think Walter Walker is going to get that heel hook again. I think he's going to go in there, he's going to get that heel hook, and he's going to submit him first round. The heel hook is hard to get because you got a lot of guys with skinny ankles and they can pull their ankle out of it. They can slip right through, especially when the fight gets longer in. These heavyweights, they got some giant ankles, and you're gonna get a good grip of that. And he's gonna be he's gonna be able to pull it off, I believe. I think if this fight goes to that second and third round, I think this is a great live betting spot for Peterson. I think if it gets out of that first round, a round and a half, you probably go live bet Peterson because Walter Walker is going to win that first round. He's probably going to win the second round. But I just think he's gonna get the heel hook again. Like I think he's a master at this. I think he knows exactly what he's gonna do. He's not scared to do it. He's telling people I'm gonna go do it, and he's gonna do it. That's this guy. And one thing about Walter Walker that people don't know too much about him, this is Johnny Walker's brother. But the one thing is Walter went to Russia and fought in Russia and decided to go against a lot of these Russians. He learned grappling. He learned all this stuff in Russia. Johnny Walker liked to be the little showman out in Brazil and knocking all these guys out and stuff like that. So it's two brothers, but I think Walter's a better brother. Even though Johnny Walker has some crazy knockers, I think Walker's the better brother. Because, like I said, this guy's in Russia. This guy speaks fluent Russian. You see Walter Walker, you're like, is this guy Russian? Hold on, let me see. Oh no, he's Brazilian. He looked Russian though. But like, I'm taking Walter Walker, and I do believe he wins by the heel hook again. He's gonna get it at first round, in my opinion.
All right. For me in this one, it's interesting. Note that, yeah, for me, I've cashed with Junior Tafa, or not Junior Tafa. I cashed with Walter Walker in his last 4 fights, starting off with Junior Tafa. I saw him get that heel hook, and then after that, I've bet him every time. I've also sprinkled the submission prop. So yeah, I've made a good amount of money betting on Walter Walker. However, I just want to note that some people have seen this clip, some people haven't, but he was recently on an interview, Walter Walker was, and he was talking about he had that necklace on with the ankles there of mannequin, and he throws it off, and he's like, I'm done going for heel hooks. Like, I want to get knockouts now. Could he be joking? Absolutely. Now, could he not be joking? That's possible too. I want to note that, yeah, in this fight, if he doesn't get the heel hook, doesn't get a first round submission, I don't know that he's gonna look so good. Like, personally, I think Peterson is the better striker. I've never been super high on Peterson, but from what we've seen so far from Walker, the only really striking we've seen is in that Lucas Brzeski fight, and that was his first fight. And he came into that fight, he didn't look as good as he typically does. But yeah, I mean, in his last 4, we haven't really seen much striking at all because he's just ripping these guys' ankles off immediately as soon as the fight starts. So yeah, I think for an angle in this fight, you could look at Walker's sub, you could look at a round 1 sub, just a round 1, something like that. But if this fight gets out of round 1, I think if you have Walter Walker in a parlay, I think you might be sweating a little bit. Like, I think Peterson's going to give him a run for his money and might even pull off the live upset. So for me in this one, no interest in betting the Walker money line or parlaying him. It would be props only, sub props, round 1 props, round 1 sub, that something to that effect. And yeah, as a pure money line, I think it would be a dog or pass. And I like the point you brought up as well. You could also wait to see, if you're thinking about playing the dog, wait for round 1 to happen. If Walter Walker doesn't get that, heel hook pretty early on in round 1, that might be a great time to jump in on Peterson, or wait for round 1 to finish and then jump in on Peterson. Some of the value might get sucked out if you wait for the full round to be over. But either way, I think that's an interesting approach for this fight. So yeah, as far as a bet, look at the Walker sub. But yeah, definitely a tough one, and it could be pretty volatile. So yeah, if he doesn't get that round 1 sub, it's going to get a little greasy. So we're both on the same page on that one. We will keep on running to our next one. We got Sagid Isgokmaev versus Abubakar Vagayev. This one, if you're taping this one, you might need like a Red Bull or like a Monster Energy or something, because you might fall asleep taping this one. Just heads up. Yeah, I mean, both of these guys, as we've talked about, and some of the other fighters on this card, fighting in this UAE region, a lot of them don't have very good, level of competition that they've fought previously. However, both of these guys are kind of the opposite. I mean, I'm not saying they're fighting world beaters, but considering, the quality guys they're fighting compared to some of these other guys from the region, it's a lot better. They're pretty much, willing to fight anybody. So I do like to see that. However, both of these guys are more so of a, pressure cooker, wrestler, want to pin you against the cage, want to take you down, land some ground and pound, position over submission, that kind of thing. So I think putting this fight on the main card is definitely a bold move and could backfire a little bit. And yeah, overall, like, I think this is a close fight. I mean, and the odds for this one, you got Vagayev at -250 and Isgokmaev at +210. Like, I do think the odds are a little wide, in all honesty. And yeah, again, Isgokmaev, he made his UFC debut 7 months ago. He fought Nicholas Dalby and lost a split decision, mainly getting pinned up against the cage, kind of just getting stalled out and that kind of thing. and wasn't a very entertaining fight. And before he had taken that fight, he hadn't fought for 3 years. So that's definitely a little bit of a red flag. And he also is a team Habib guy, is Gakmaev, that is. And then Vaguev, like same kind of thing. Like, yeah, he more so wants to kind of stall things, take you down. So yeah, this one, as far as a pick, I'll take Vaguev, but like I would not bet him at -250 personally. And as far as a bet or like an angle on this one, I'd look at the over. There is a chance it's juiced. It's not out yet, so I'm curious to see what it is. But yeah, for this one, I might look at an over, or maybe Vaguev by decision. But yeah, this isn't one I'm super passionate about. What about you?
I like Gakiev in this fight. Then that's how you pronounce it. I think he's a big underdog. I think I think he might be like is he over +200? I can't remember exactly the odds right now.
Yeah, you can get like +200, +230 in some spots.
Yeah, I like Gakmaev in this fight mainly because both of these guys have fought in good competition places where I think it's Vagiev or how you ever pronounce his name. He fought in ACA. The ACA is one of the best organizations where a lot of these fighters that fight in ACA can be in the UFC and do very well, but they just can't get a visa to come over to fight into the US. So that's the reason why a lot of them are not in the UFC. And is Gakmaev fought in one championship. They're both fighting in some great competitions. But I believe this line is a lot of recency bias. A lot of people are seeing is Gakmaev, oh, he lost to Nicholas Dalby in his debut. Nicholas Dalby sucks. And guys, everybody go bet the other guy. The other guy, he's not as good as, I mean, I think the competition is the skill level is very even. I think this line should be lined maybe -120, -110. It should be like damn near a pick in my opinion. But I just so much recency bias that I have to say it's dog or pass in this spot. I think it's going to be a very close fight. I think it's going to be tit for tat. Punches are going to land on both sides. I think both guys are going to have some decent wrestling spots. I think both of them are good literally. I think for the most part, when you get two guys that have good wrestling, it turns into a stand-up fight for the most part. And that's where I think it's going to be as Gakmaev landing the better shots. And I think that a lot of hype is on this Vagaya fight. And the only reason why I believe this fight is on the main card is because like this Vagaya guy, I believe he has like 900,000, 1 million followers on Instagram. Like he's a very popular guy. So they know that he's going to have a lot of eyes on this fight. So I do believe that is Gakmaev is going to win this fight, but I think I'm fading the hype. There's a lot of hype in this other guy, and I'm fading the hype. I don't think he's really all that skilled. I think this line should be a lot closer, and there's just a lot of recency bias where people are just saying, like I said, oh, Nicholas Dolly beat him. You know how many times I've heard that in my life? Oh, this guy lost to this guy. This guy lost to this guy. So this guy sucks. So this guy must suck. And it's like, guys, that's not how these fighting stuff works. It doesn't work like that. So it doesn't work like that for really any sport, guys. You go and bet on sports that way in any sport. Or well, they lost to this person that sucks. This team sucks. So they beat this team. You're gonna lose a lot of money that way. I guarantee you. So matchup makes fights, and I think this is a good fight for his Gakmaev. So it's dog or pass for me. I probably won't have any money on this fight personally, but I'm gonna go with the underdog in this spot.
All right, sounds good. We will move on to the next one. We got the big Rizvan Kuniev versus Tyrell Fortune. What do you like in this one, my friend?
I love Kuniev in this fight. I do. I think he's gonna beat. I think he's gonna beat Tyrell Fortune pretty easily. And don't get me wrong, I like Tyrell Fortune as well. Tyrell Fortune, very powerful, hits very hard, has really good wrestling. But you've seen what Kuniev was able to do against Jalton Almeida's wrestling, and Kuniev was my underdog in the night against Almeida. I was like, I was telling people the whole time, I guarantee you Kuniev wins this fight, but. It was kind of a stinker. Was it a stinker? Yes, it was. He was holding him against it. I told people Kuniev is gonna Jalton Almeida, and that's exactly what he did. He did to Jalton Almeida what Jalton Almeida does to everybody else. He did it to him, and now he's going against Tyrell Fortune. With Tyrell Fortune, I think he's gonna get outstruck in this spot. I think he's gonna get out wrestled in this spot. I think both of their cardios aren't the best, so I think it's like gonna be 50-50 on the cardio wise. I think both of them can be tired by the third round, but. Where I'm going to be leaning is that Kuniev, he can take down Tyrell Fortune, and I don't think Tyrell Fortune can take him down. And I think if it's on the feet for the most part, Kuniev is a better striker. He is a way better striker. I think he was just playing so safe against Jailton Almeida that he knew that if he opened up on his striking, Almeida would probably get the takedown. So I think that's the reason why he didn't open up on more striking against Almeida. I think this spot he doesn't respect Tyrell Fortune's wrestling as much as he did against Almeida's, and I think he's gonna probably end up knocking out Tyrell Fortune. This fight can go to decision, but personally, I think Kuniev, I think this is a play all day for him. I think he is personally just better everywhere. Besides the power, obviously, because Tyrell Fortune can knock anybody out. If he lands clean on you, he can knock anybody out. But Kuniev has a great chin. I've seen this guy take some big shots from a lot of other fighters, and it wasn't able to get knocked out. And if Kuniev, I think was he injured in that fight against Curtis Blades? And I believe him. I think he talked about he had an injury going to that fight. And I believe him because I believe if he wasn't injured in that Curtis Blades fight, he could have beat Curtis Blades as well. So I think Kuniev is the real deal. I think this guy should be at least in the top 8, top 7 of this division. I think that's probably that's his peak. I don't think he's going to go any higher than that. But I think he's good enough to beat Tyrell Fortune. So it's going to be Kuniev, and I think he's going to knock out Tyrell Fortune.
All right. I also am going to take Kuniev here. And I actually thought he beat Curtis Blades in that fight. I thought you easily could have given it to him. And yeah, if he was hurt, fair enough. But I thought even him being hurt, he did enough to win that fight. And yeah, if he wasn't hurt, I thought he probably could have made that even more decisive. And yeah, as you mentioned in Kuniev's last fight against Almeida, he was able to pin Almeida up against the defense, land some knees. As you mentioned, it was definitely not the most entertaining fight, more on the stinker side, but he did what he did, and kind of Almeida, like you said, he pinned him against the cage, and was able to just win minutes really. Fortune in his last fight, stepped up and fought Marcin Tybura on short notice. I mean, he looked okay in that fight, but he definitely slowed down a little bit, and like he looked good in the first, but then in the second and third he didn't look like nearly as good. And yeah, for me here, like I don't know, I think Fortune's all right. I don't think either guy is really going to have a whole lot of like success getting the fight like to the mat, but I do think that the big Riz is going to be stronger here. And yeah, I think if anybody's like getting like more cage push and pinning the other guy against the cage, I do see Kuniev pinning up Fortune against the cage, landing some knees, that kind of thing. So yeah, for me, I think the knockout is possible, but I think for me here, a good angle would be the over 2.5 at about -2 135. I think that Kuniev's going to be able to pin him against the cage and kill time and win minutes, similar to the Almeida fight. So I think that could be worth a look. And this fight, Kuniev's about -330 and Fortune's +275. From a straight money line standpoint, I do think the line is a little wide here, but yeah, I do think the over could be worth a look, or you could potentially look at a Kuniev decision. But yeah, I think the thing that sticks out to me the most is definitely the over 2.5. I think this could be another stinker. Kuniev wins a 29-28 decision, something to that effect. So yeah, give me Kuniev by decision as the official pick in this one. Moving on to the next one, we have Damian Rzepecki versus Magomed Zaynukov, aka Chanko, aka Wild Chanko, aka John Pork. For those of you, if you know, you know. In this one, taping this one, obviously, watching John Pork's fight on the Contender Series was obviously one of the craziest fights in Contender Series history. Breaks the record for most significant strikes landed, shows off his, world-class Muay Thai. Very, very beautiful striking to watch from Zaynukov. And obviously, he has some other good tape on the regional scene as well. And he has Muay Thai fights as well, everything like that. So, yeah, I do think he is a, very quality prospect, very good striking to watch. And then as far as the Rzepecki side, he's a training partner of Ilia Topuria. I think he's got some good boxing. I think he's fairly well-rounded. However, the level of competition he's fighting also is not all that great. He can finish some fights, whether it's, getting TKOs, getting rear naked chokes. Like, I do think this fight could be a bit of a war and could go the distance. I think it could look somewhat similar to Zaynukov's fight on the Contender Series. So, as far as a pick, like, I'm going to go Zaynukov by decision. I think that his leg kicks and his Muay Thai is going to be a lot for Damian to deal with here. I just think that there's levels to striking, and I think that Damian has some potential, and I think that he obviously training with Tapuria, that's a good training partner. There'd be a lot to learn from him, and I think that he has some potential in the UFC. But just for right now, I think that him going up against Zaynukov in his first UFC fight, I definitely think it's a tall ask, and I think Zaynukov is gonna throw so many strikes, beat up his legs, throw kicks, punches, elbows, knees, just the whole arsenal on the feet. So yeah, I think he ends up winning a decision here. I think as far as like angle, you could look at him, Zaynukov by decision at about plus 140. You could also look at the over in this one. The over 2.5 at about minus 125. So there's a few different angles. I also think he could be an all right parlay piece as well. So yeah, I like Zaynukov. I like Zaynukov here, aka John Pork. What about you?
I like John Pork in this spot. I think John Pork's gonna win. I'm not calling him Zaynukov. He's John Pork forever. So I like John Pork in this spot. I just think he is a better fighter and completely fighter in this spot. Don't get me wrong. I think Damian is gonna make this fight competitive because this guy has some really good striking from what I've seen. I know he hasn't fought the best competition, but his just the way he puts combinations together, just the way his stance and how he moves his head very well. He is a very good striker. I think Zaynukov is going to have to. Oh, I said his name. It's John Pork. Pork, not Zaynukov. It is Pork. So John Pork is going to have to use his wrestling here because if he tries to go strike for strike with Damian, he better be careful because he can get caught with something. So I think the best game plan for him is yes, use your striking. Obviously, we all know you're a great Muay Thai fighter. We all know you have great striking, but mix in some wrestling in this spot, and that's exactly why I think he's going to win this fight because if this fight is strike for strike and they're going back and forth. I would want nothing with Zaynukov. I'd probably be leaning towards a little bit of a small sprinkle on Damian in this spot. But I think John Pork's gonna probably use his wrestling and know that he has an easier path to victory in that spot. And one thing about Damian, I didn't know he was training partners with Ilia Topuria. I thought they only had the same management team. I know they have the same management team. I didn't know they were training partners, but I guess they are. If they are training partners, they are. I know they have the same management team, but yeah, I think this fight's gonna be very competitive on the feet. I think Damian is a very good striker, and I think John Pork's gonna have to use his takedowns in this fight. And if he doesn't, I think he has a good chance of getting upset in this spot. But coming from a good training camp, they're gonna have a good game plan for him, and they're probably gonna let him know that this guy has some really good wrestling, and you're probably gonna have to get to their takedowns, use some wrestling as well. So yeah, give me John Pork, and I think, like I said, I think he's gonna win a decision because I think both of them have good striking. They're both gonna have some good spots, but I think just the wrestling angle that can come from John Pork's side is gonna pull this one off.
That's interesting. I just want to touch on that a little bit. There's a couple people now that I've talked to that think he should or will go to his wrestling, John Pork, that is. Personally, I'm not saying it's impossible or that he shouldn't, but I'm leaning towards him just striking. I think Damian's he might look to throw leg kicks, but trying to throw leg kicks and box against Zaynukov, I don't know. I think Zaynukov might just come out here and look to strike the whole time. To be honest, he could mix in the odd takedown, but I don't think he has to. It's just my point. I think he can, if he wants to, he can just go out there, strike, and win a clean decision, sort of thing. But yeah, all respect to Damian. I think he's gonna have some potential. There's been a lot of these Polish fighters coming into the UFC that have had a lot of success. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. No doubt about that. Moving on to our next fight, we have Islam Dulatov versus Wellington Turman. We have Dulatov coming in at minus 900, minus 1,000, depending on where you look. And we got Turman coming in at about plus 700. What do you like in this one?
Give me Islam Dulatov. I've been a fan of this guy since the Contender Series. This guy's out there being a model in Germany on his off time. He's in there and clothing, fashion magazines, being a model. And he's over there training, and when he fights, this guy is a damn near a real life James Bond out here, modeling and shooting guns and then fighting. Dulatov is the spot. I think he's better than Thurman everywhere. I think he can knock out Thurman. That's the one thing I wouldn't do. I think he knocks out Thurman. I don't think Thurman's that good. I don't think Thurman moves his head very well. I think Thurman's going to try to get to the wrestling in this spot because he's not going to be able to strike with Dulatov. But if he does that, Dulatov has a really, really good choke. So he has a great choke game. So he can honestly hop on the neck and choke him out as well. I'm a big fan of Dulatov. I think it's a great spot for him. I'd parlay him. I take him inside the distance because he's either going to knock out Turman, or he is going to get the choke like he has, because like I said, he has a great choke game. So give me Dulatov. I think he's better everywhere in the spot. I think this is tailor made for him. A guy named Islam fighting in Abu Dhabi. Come on now, this is tailor made for him to win. They're giving him an easy fight. So give me Islam Dulatov. I think he wins inside the distance.
All right. I also like Dulatov in this spot. Same as you. I've been a fan of this dude since the Contender Series. And yeah, I think, his opponent here, Turman, hasn't fought in 3 years. I think this is a clear, we're bringing him in to get Dulatov a highlight reel sort of knockout. So yeah, as far as an angle on this one, I think you could look at Dulatov by KO. I see Dulatov round 1 KO on one book. There's you can get that at Pick'em minus 110 for a round 1 KO. I think that sounds pretty good to me. Turman, I mean, he's a crafty vet. He's been in the UFC, but he's got some decent jiu-jitsu and okay striking, but his wrestling really isn't the best. So I think he's going to struggle to get the fight to the mat. So yeah, I think he's going to end up stuck on the feet with Dulatov, and Dulatov probably puts him out, probably pretty violently, similar to his last fight against Adam Fugat. So yeah, Dulatov by KO is the pick for me. Moving on to our co-main event of the evening, we got Steve Erceg versus Ramazan Temirov. This fight, depending on what book you look at, you can kind of get either guy as a slight favorite, but it's pretty much a pick'em fight for all intents and purposes here. So in this one, I'm going to start off by saying I am a big fan of Steve Erceg. It pains me to say, like, this guy, honestly, like, I hope not, but like, and he's coming off 2 wins, but like, this guy's kind of the Dominic Reyes of the flyweight division. Like, if you go back and watch that fight against Pantoja, he's like 1 or 2 decisions away from winning that fight. Like, he's a couple decisions away from beating Pantoja and shocking the world. I actually had a small bet on Erceg there, and yeah, I did think he lost, but I definitely like could have seen the fight being scored for him. And yeah, he makes a couple tweaks, he wins that fight. So yeah, after that, he fights Kai Kara-France, is looking amazing, is schooling him on the feet, but then he gets bonked, gets put out in round 1. Then he fights Moreno, didn't look the best in that fight. And then in an interview, he said that, yeah, like in that Moreno fight, he was kind of thinking about the knockout, and he was kind of like in his own head, I guess you could say. Then after that, he fights Ode Osborne, gets dropped in the first round by Osborne, then, recovers, ends up battling back, wins a decision. And then in his most recent fight, he kind of schools Tim Elliott on the feet. Tim Elliott's definitely an interesting fighter. And yeah, Erceg was just, much better than him. Temirov, in his first fight in the UFC against CJ Vergara, I bet on him. I play him by knockout in that fight, and he got it done by knockout. And then in his last fight against Charles Johnson, I also bet Temirov in that fight. That fight was also a near pick'em fight. I believe I got him as a slight dog in that fight. And, that was a lot of people were on Charles Johnson in that fight. That was right around the time Charles Johnson was like on a bit of a tear, was sort of, starting to stack up some wins. But yeah, Temirov won that fight. However, note that he did end up popping for PEDs. So that's kind of what makes this fight interesting. Earlier in the week, Erceg was minus 130 and Temirov was plus 110. Now some money's came in on Temirov, and it's basically a pick'em. For me in this one, like, I also want to note that, yeah, Temirov, like the PEDs he popped for, it wasn't like anabolic steroids or anything like that. It was actually a heart medication that he was prescribed by his doctor. So he like showed proof that that's what indeed it was. And so, yeah, so it was a heart medication. It wasn't a like steroid or anything like of that nature, like per se. But yeah, in this fight, like, Erceg is definitely the better jiu-jitsu guy. No doubt about that. Pure striking, I think Erceg is better as well. Power-wise, though, you got to give it to Temirov. And also wrestling, I think Erceg, like, not that Erceg typically shoots a lot of takedowns, but I don't think he's going to be able to get this fight to the mat that easily. Like, Temirov's like a short dude, low center of gravity, ball of muscle, all that thing. And he's super explosive as well. Definitely like a fast twitch athlete. So in this one, like, it's a tough one, man. Like, I can kind of make a case either way, but ultimately what I kind of settle on is just that Erceg is going to have to do a lot of his work on the feet in the boxing range. And that's exactly where Temirov shines and can end up clipping him. And again, I mean, it is at flyweight. So, taking a guy who, you know, only has to get a knockout. That's kind of, I mean, Temirov could win a decision. Like I can also see him coming and winning, you know, the first 2 rounds and then sort of, you know, maybe just trying to survive in the third, similar to that Johnson fight. But yeah, picking a guy who's kind of, he only has one pathway to win is definitely scary. Again, he could get a decision. So yeah, I think overall, I think I'm going to side with Temirov here. Just, yeah, that he could either, you know, bonk Steve Erceg in the first round or first, second round, or I could just see him winning the first 2 rounds. And then maybe, you know, he kind of gasses out a little bit. Erceg starts to put it on him in the third. However, I think this is also a fight where whoever ends up winning is going to look like a massive favorite. If Temirov can't get him out of the first and say maybe off this medication, maybe he gasses out and maybe Erceg pieces him up in rounds 2 and 3. I think that's possible too. But yeah, for this one, I'll take Temirov. I think the safest angle would just be taking him on the money line. You can get, I've seen a couple -105s out there and a couple +100s. I think that would be the angle I would take, but not sure if I end up betting this one personally. What about you?
I'm gonna be taking Temirov in this fight. I think I agree with you. I think this fight's gonna come down to who's had. They're both gonna land some shots. I'm gonna tell you that they're both gonna have their moments. They're both gonna land some shots on each other. I think this fight's gonna be on the feet because I don't think Erceg can take Temirov down. I think if Temirov shoots a takedown, we haven't really. He doesn't have the best. I mean, obviously he has some wrestling, but for the most part, he wants to knock your head off. I don't think he's gonna be able to take down Steve Erceg either. So for the most part, it's gonna be a striking battle. I think they're both gonna land some shots. I think they're both gonna land some hard shots. And it comes down to who has a better chin. And I don't trust Steve Erceg's chin. I think if when he gets hit, he kind of folds over. I'm also a big fan of Steve Erceg. What's it called? I bet on Steve Erceg many of his fights. I mean, actually, I took Kai Kara fans to get Kai Kara against him because I'm a big Kai Kara guy. I took Brandon Moreno against him. I actually bet on him as well for the Pantoja fight. I thought I had a small sprinkle on him in that fight. And like I said, mental mistake. He could have won the fight. He could have been champion, but just mental mistake. And that Ode Osborne fight is the main reason why I kind of think he's going to lose this fight. Is because Ode Osborne, I'm a Ode Osborne guy as well. I like this guy. I think Ode has really good skills, but he just doesn't have the gas tank. He doesn't have the gas tank to last. And if Ode can catch you in that first round, I think Temirov can do it too, and I think Temirov hits harder than O'Day, and I think he's going to be able to knock him out. So I think it's going to be. I think this is a close fight. There's a reason why it's damn near a pick 'em. I think Temirov's a slight underdog in the spot, and you get like +105, maybe like +100 on him. But it's damn near a pick 'em, and I understand it. It's a close fight. I agree with you. Either way, whoever wins, they're going to look like a big favorite. They're going to look like if you pick Steve Erceg in this fight and you get it wrong, and what's it called? Temirov wins. Oh, bro, how could you pick Steve Erceg? You're stupid. Why? Don't you know he has a bad chin? But if you pick Temirov in this fight, why would you pick Temirov? Don't you know that Steve Erceg's about this? Either way, you're gonna look dumb if you lose in this fight. So, I'm gonna pick Temirov. I think he's gonna end up knocking out Steve Erceg. He's gonna come into boxing range, and I think at that point, Steve's gonna get hit, and I don't think he takes punishment very well. So give me Temirov. Sad to say, because I like Steve Erceg a lot. He's a really nice guy. He's a really good fighter, but I think he's gonna get knocked out.
All right. Moving on to the main event, we got Magomed Ankalaev versus Bogdan Guskov. We got Guskov stepping in here on short notice, replacing Khalil Roundtree. And we got Ankalaev at -550 and Guskov at +400. What do you like in this one?
The lock of the century is Magomed Ankalaev. He should be a -2,000 in this fight, I believe. I swear, he is way better than Bogdan Guskov. Guskov, yeah, he has power, but Magomed is better everywhere. Absolutely better everywhere. Magomed's the best fighter in this division. I actually took Magomed Ankalaev in that first fight against Alex Pereira. I was like, he's going to piece him up. I was like, people were like, well, the only way he wins this fight is if he takes him down. He hurt Alex a whole bunch of times in that first fight. Second fight, Magomed had an injury. He wasn't ready for the fight, but he took it. He was going into the fight with an injury, and he took the fight anyway. And then Alex Pereira just stormed on him, just right away. Just landed some hard shots on him. I think Magomed was caught by surprise, but Magomed should be champion in this fight, this whole entire division. I've been saying for years, since he made his debut, I was like, this guy's gonna be a champion, and he was a champion, and he got knocked out in the first round by Alex because he got stormed on. He's better than Guskov everywhere. He can wrestle Guskov. He can take down Guskov. He could knock out Guskov and outstrike him. He can point fight him. He can do whatever he wants in this fight. I think Magomed Ankalaev is absolutely a lock in this spot. I think he's the uncrowned champion since Alex went up to heavyweight. I think he's gonna be champion again. And I thought he was gonna knock out Khalil Roundtree as well. Even though I like Khalil Roundtree, I thought he was gonna beat Khalil. I think this is a way step down competition for him. So, okay, Magomed Ankalaev. He should be a bigger favorite in my opinion.
All right. For me in this one, I'll pick Ankalaev, but I'm definitely nowhere near as confident as you, honestly. I do think he is like overall the better fighter. I think like he definitely has a big edge in the wrestling. Not that he uses it much, and honestly, I don't actually really expect him to use it much here. I think he's mainly going to strike in this fight, and yeah, I think overall, I do agree. Like outside of power, I would give him pretty much. He's the better striker. He's the better wrestler, and I'd say he's got better cardio, everything like that. But I don't know. Like I just think he's overall like with Guskov, he's got that one hitter quitter power. Like I think a lot of respect for him as well for jumping in and taking this fight on short notice. And like I'll say this, on our PFL breakdown, you had mentioned in one of the fights a guy's first rounder bust. I think Guskov is first rounder bust. I think Guskov is absolutely live in the first round of this fight. Ankalaev typically backs up, kind of goes for a more conservative style. And Guskov's going to take it to him. Guskov's going to try to take his head off. I think it'll be interesting to see what kind of game plan Guskov comes in here with. Like for me personally, if I was his coach, I would push him towards come out there like Pereira did in the second fight, try to knock him out in the first round, because if you don't, trying to, outpoint him, you're going to lose. Trying to wrestle him, you're going to lose. So like overall, I think your best bet is to try to come out and bonk him in round one like Pereira did in the second fight. So that's what I'm kind of expecting him to do here, in all honesty. And I think he's got a decent shot to do that. I think as a pure money line, I have no interest in betting Ankalaev at minus 550 personally. I think it's absolutely dog or pass. However, if you are looking for a way to play Ankalaev, you could look at like a same game parlay, Ankalaev money line and the over 1.5. That gets you to about a pick 'em. I think that's pretty good. Like realistically, I think if Ankalaev wins, I think what happens, and again, this is sort of banking on what I was saying about Guskov. If Guskov comes out, tries to take his head off round one, doesn't, or at least in the first two rounds, I think in the later rounds, I think Ankalaev ends up putting it on him and ends up TKOing him. Is kind of what I see happening. Could go to a decision, but I feel like Guskov's going to come out. Again, he knows it's a 5-round fight on short notice in enemy territory. I think he seems like a pretty smart guy as well. I think he's going to know that his best bet is to try to come out and get that early knockout. So if he doesn't get it, he's likely going to end up gassing out and getting finished later on. So yeah, as far as a pick, give me Ankalaev. But yeah, as far as a bet, it's either a sprinkle on Guskov, plus 400 on a puncher's chance is all right. And then, or you play, like I said, Ankalaev in the over, or maybe you play Ankalaev by knockout. I saw that was about minus 150, something like that could be worth a look. So
yeah,
that is the main event for UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi. So as we have been doing in our past episodes, we'll move on to our next segment and we will do our fighter to watch. So Wager, let me ask you, who is your fighter to watch on UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi?
Fighter to watch. Let me think about this. Fighter to watch is going to be Hussein in the first fight of the night. Nobody really knows who this guy is. This guy, like I said, he has so much skills. I think he's better than Cody Gibson everywhere. I think this Hussein guy has so much potential, and he's gonna. Once he wins this fight, I think a lot of people are going to be hopping on him. I think this is going to be a fight that everyone's going to be like, damn, who is this guy? So I think he's going to put it on Cody Gibson. So I think Hussein in that first fight of the night is going to be the fighter to watch.
All right. For me, I'm going to take Magomed Zaynukov, a.k.a. John Pork, as my fighter to watch. Yeah, as you kind of mentioned about Hussein, I mean, the hardcore fans definitely know who Zaynukov, a.k.a. John Pork, is, but a lot of the casuals aren't going to know who this guy is. So when they watch this guy fight, and if the fight goes similar to how I think it is, this guy's going to be able to show off his striking and show, a similar fight to his war on Contender Series. And yeah, I think this guy's going to win over a lot of people. And you'll be seeing the John Pork comments and memes on his Instagram. So yeah, I'll take Magomed Zaynukov as my fighter to watch. What about your fight of the night? What's your fight of the night prediction?
My fight of the night's going to be the fight you just picked, the fight of the watch. My fight of the night's going to be Damian taking. How do you pronounce Damian's last name? I don't want to.
I think it's like Rzepecki. Like, yeah, the Polish names are like pronounced weird. I think it's like
Rzepecki, something like that. Yeah, so I think it's Rzepecki and Zaynukov. I think they're gonna have a war. I think Rzepecki has really good striking. I think he's gonna make this into a great fight. Whereas Zaynukov's gonna have, like I said, he's gonna have to use his wrestling in this fight, because if he doesn't, it's gonna be a battering war between these guys, and they're both going to land some shots. So that's going to be my fight of the night. John Pork taking on Rzepecki, fight of the night.
All right. For my fight of the night, I'm going to go with Ismael Bonfim versus Axel Sola. As I kind of touched on in the breakdown of this fight, like, yeah, Bonfim's going to come out there. He's been on a bit of a skid. He's going to come out there in round one. He's going to try and take Sola's head off. And Sola's, he ain't going to let that happen. He's going to throw back. As we saw in his last fight against Mason Jones, he's got that dog in him. So I think this is going to be a dog fight. Mainly striking back and forth. Both guys are going to get hurt. So yeah, give me Bonfim versus Sola as my fight of the night. So that is our fighter to watch and fight of the night. So Wager, thanks again for coming on. I think overall the show's been going really good so far. We've had a lot of support, a lot of comments, people saying they like the show. Definitely appreciate that. So yeah, what do you got going on your channel, and what's up for you this week?
Same thing as always. World Cup is over, and I absolutely killed the World Cup. The World Cup was like, I tell people I made the World Cup my expletive. That's what I did. What's it called? The World Cup is over now. Now we're gonna be hopping over to baseball because baseball's the only thing on right now. We got football season about like 3 weeks away. So I'm going to be starting up a football show there called After the Snap. I'm going to be doing my football show every single week. And then, we do soccer, tennis, and baseball for the rest for these next 3 weeks. And hopefully keep killing it. Make sure you guys subscribe to my page. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up and subscribe to this video. I've seen people coming from my page, coming over to watch this channel, and I appreciate you guys so much for supporting me and also supporting Collective MMA and his page. It's a big shout out to you guys. You guys know who you are. And if you guys don't know my page yet, go subscribe, check it out, and subscribe to this, and also leave a comment for the algorithm, guys. The comments really help the algorithm push our videos out. So I appreciate all you guys.
Right on, brother. Absolutely. Definitely appreciate the support. And yeah, we also got PFL going on in Washington, D.C. this Saturday. So Wager and I will be doing another episode of Fight IQ. We'll break down the PFL card for you guys again this week. And for me, I'm going to have some more content coming out this week. We're going to do a video talking about bets for UFC and PFL this weekend, and we're also going to have a interview this weekend as well. So definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. I want to note one thing as well. We there was one comment we got, and I believe it was somebody, one of your subscribers was just saying that they don't see all the posts or whatever. So it's like, if when we do a collab, under your subscription tab, the video will pop up, but on Wager's actual page, it goes all the way to the bottom to collaborations. It won't show up in his videos. So definitely hit that subscribe button to this channel so you don't miss any uploads from me from Fight IQ as well. So definitely hit that subscribe, hit the like, drop a comment for the algorithm. We've definitely been appreciating you guys' comments. I try to like them and respond as much as possible as well. And definitely check us out. We appreciate all the support. Yeah, we'll be coming to you guys with the PFL video, likely either Thursday or Friday, and we'll look to cover everything again. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's, have another great week of betting, and, let's make some money. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hit that like button, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.